Model Railroader, now part of the Fire Crown Media Corporation, had a very nice booth with many of their books and special editions. Here I picked up the Great Model Railroads for 2025, and inside a very nice spread on Tom Johnson's layout, which we'll talk about a little bit more here in a second on something else that I bought at the show. The Yankee Dabbler carries deluxe materials products. And one of the things I wanted to try was their precision plastic glue. It's non-toxic. I want to see how well it works for styrene because generally you need some pretty hot solvents to get that stuff to work. Liquid Gravity, that's an excellent product. I'm going to use it in my well cars to give them a little bit more weight when they're empty. Tacky Wax is something I've wanted to try, and they had that available, so I picked some up. It's kind of a substitute for what I call people glue, or the Woodland Scenic Accent glue. The nice thing with this is it works right away. You don't have to wait for it to tack up. So it's got a couple different uses, and I'm excited to give it a try. From Spring Creek Model Trains, this is their exclusive Intermountain bi-level auto rack. This was a special car that Dave wanted to have made up, and he partnered with Intermountain, and they have this available in several different road numbers. And I was interested to learn that this is not a fantasy paint scheme. The Rock Island actually had about 200 of these in pool service at the time the Rock Island got dissolved. So it's really cool. And of course, if you know Spring Creek, you know Dave Zucker, he's a fan of Rock Island. So of course, they're going to have this. But I like it because it's a cool car. It'll fit nice in the string of the other bi-level auto racks that I have, and it's a different color. It's not a red or yellow or black. It's a blue, and it's going to stand out and look really nice. I didn't pick it up because they don't have it yet, but another exclusive car that Spring Creek is coming out with is in partnership with KD. It's like a commemorative or a recognition of Spring Creek's 25th year in business. And they're taking reservations for this special car, and it should be out, I think, in January is what Deb said. They don't have it available or any information about it on their website at the time that I'm recording this, but if you're interested in getting this car, give Spring Creek a call. They'd be happy to answer any questions you have about it or take a reservation for it. Daniel Notley of Yelton Models. He is partnered with Spring Creek. He was there showing his wonderful little 3D printed objects. Spring Creek is his US distributor because Daniel is from Canada, as are a lot of folks that are very beneficial to the model railroad hobby. And here I picked up some very nice 3D printed kitchen pieces. I have a refrigerator and a washer and dryer. And the washing machine actually has a positionable lid. So I guess I'll have to sew some tiny clothes to put into the tub. And maybe I'll see if I can model a laundry basket to put in with this set. However, I'm probably not going to try to model a 12-year-old bottle of mustard to put into the refrigerator. In the middle of the screen, I have from Bob Johnson of Masterbuilt Models, a very nice PCX 87 Corvette C8 and a Ford CLT 9000. My wife and I were just out in Bowling Green not that long ago. We didn't tour the Corvette plant, but we did go to the National Corvette Museum. So this is kind of a little bit of a belated but connected object to have to remember that visit. The truck is to pull my Lone Star Wilson grain trailer kit that I picked up. These things will go together very nicely. One of the nice things about visiting Trainfest is it's a little bit outside of my region, so I get to visit with people that I'm not familiar with. Maybe they are new manufacturers to the hobby, and Jeff is one of these people I have never met before. He had some very nice train loads. And his name is Jeff Cooper. Soon he'll have these models available on his website, but he did have some nice samples there in different scales. I like these banded loads, and as you can see here, I'm standing next to my forklift that's going to be delivering all of that nice birch plywood so that I can start building some more modules. But I thought they were pretty cool. There's like a pink insulation foam board, so it's kind of fun. You can almost have a little mini scene of perhaps you building a giant miniature layout. Really cool stuff. He was fun to visit with. Excellent stuff there. And standing next to the forklift is a little mini me. I was scanned by Bernard Helen when I was at the RPM show in Collinsville this summer. Bernard did have some time slots to scan some folks, but he was smart to leave quite a bit of time open so that he could actually attend the show because, I mean, he is running a business, but he's a model railroader as well, so he wants to have some fun. The folks from East Coast Circuits were there, and I picked up some of their lighted traffic barrels. And these are perfect because they have such a small magnet wire that I can easily poke that through my scenery base. And if I want to reposition these, which I'm sure I will, they'll leave such tiny holes that they'll be hidden when I take them up and move them and reposition them. But they were really cool. They had all their cars on display. And by Sunday, most of them were sold out. I mean, they were selling their display cars as people were coming up. Really neat people, some innovative products, adding a little bit of more realism to your models and dioramas and the animation with the lights. Just really cool stuff and fun people, fun to visit with them. Reynolds was there, and they were specifically showing off the MBR model trees. I visited with Ray for a while, and we talked about these trees and how cool they are and all the detail that's on them. And he got up out of his chair and we were looking through the trees and just remarking at how wonderful these things are. And he was very enthusiastic about it, and it was fun because we were talking about this with great enthusiasm after I had already purchased the trees. So he wasn't even trying to do a sales pitch. He just really loves these trees. And Reynolds is the distributor in North America for these things. They're great. As I was saying earlier, Tom Johnson, who is featured in Great Model Railroads 2025, and of course various other publications, and very active on the Model Railroad Hobbyist Forum, he uses MBR trees on his shelf layout. So I figure if they're good enough for Tom Johnson, they surely will look fine on my little layout. If nothing else, the trees will look so nice they'll distract people from my poor modeling. Woodland Scenics had a really nice booth. They were doing demonstrations on one side, and it was so nice to see young people getting hands-on with some of the things that Woodland Scenics puts out, such as making trees and coloring rocks. It was really neat to see, and every time I went past their booth, there was always people watching. They had like a constant demonstration. It was really nice to see. Well, they had bins of these bagged kits, and they were on sale. Sometimes you'll see in your hobby store kind of a plastic clamshell of a similar kind of learning kit. Well, these were just in a Ziploc bag, as you see, and I thought they were a pretty good deal, $10 each. And I got one on rock making and one on water modeling. And I think this is good because I want to actually learn how to do this, but I don't know that I'm actually going to use any rock faces on my layout, but it always looks fun. I enjoy watching people make stuff, but I want to do it myself. The rock making kit is pretty interesting because it includes one of their silicone molds, the plaster, and the color washes. And it's perfect. It's just a little thing. I don't have to go out and buy, a whole set of this stuff that I probably will end up wasting most of. So I think it's a pretty good value. I also picked up 2 rolls of the track bed for $10 each, and I'm glad that I did because by Sunday they were all sold out of the HO. They still had N and they had plenty of O, but the HO stuff sold out pretty quick. Resourced Rails is known for secondhand brass that they sell on their website, and they had a nice booth there, and they had some other things that were not locomotives or rolling stock. They're just some previously loved items. One of the things was this nice Trident Chevy van and the Walthers Uptown Motors dealership kit. Now, I've already built the dealership kit as a Chrysler dealer, but it's in a 1980s style. So I wanted to be able to update that, and I'm happy to have found this at a pretty good price. So now I can update it to the modern Chrysler dealership look with the metal panel front and kind of kit bash it, and I'll still be able to swap out the showroom portion of the kit because it really is kind of 3 buildings in one. And that's going to look really nice. And I can kind of swap eras. I just finished my Chrysler dealer sign, which is a modern sign, and like I do for anything that sticks up tall on my layout, it's placed with magnets. So I can pull that sign out and then replace it with a different sign from a different era, or even switch brands altogether. And they had a bin of little cars. We've got this nice older mini metals of a 1953 Ford. Another vendor whose name escapes me, unfortunately, they had some deals on these older or used kits. From Atlas, I picked up Barb's Bungalow for $10. It's a fun kit that I can build to commemorate 100 years of Atlas. The Yard Tower was, I think, my first Atlas kit, and it's what made me want to build structure models. I wasn't very good at building cars. For whatever reason, I sucked at it. But when I was building buildings and I could have square and straight lines, it just fell into place, and that's why I love building kits. This Bachmann Spectrum department store was a cool deal, $30. The kit was open, but all the parts were in there. A few of the walls and windows were put in place, but that's fine. That's less work for me to do. And this series of kits, it goes for big money now, but they weren't inexpensive when new, so it's kind of crazy to see. I think when I looked this one up, I got home, brand new sealed one, new in box or new old stock. It was going for about $100 on eBay, and there's no way I'd pay that for it, but $30, not bad. They're a good kit. They have good detail in them. I've built the Ambassador Hotel and two of the taller tower structures, so this one will be a good fit. Now, interestingly, Bob Lundy helped design this kit for Bachmann, as well as so many of the other nice structures that we have for Walthers, DPM, and Woodland Scenics. And of course, Lundy Studios was there. Bob was there at the booth and out walking around. And Bob is just a wealth of information on structures because he was by profession an architect. I visited with him at Trainfest in 2022, and I learned a great deal about how he creates his molds and the process he goes through to get these kits put together. So I have a much better appreciation for the work that goes into them. They're resin, not injection molded. So they're made in small batches and the quality is pretty much assured. And this is one that I like. It's going to be perfect on my new section because it's not super large. There were a few clinics presented, and I did attend one by Dave Ackman on 3D printing using his simple method of making complex models. It's really cool. It's a program on his website available that you can use to design your own 3D shapes for structures and print out. And he was just a really cool guy to talk to. I ran into him later at the show and thanked him for putting that clinic on. And one of the modules inside of his program is designing garage doors. Well, wouldn't you know it, I actually need a garage door for one of the scratch-built structures that I have going. Right upon entering the convention hall, there was a booth to the right, and you could get a quick 5-minute clinic on different modeling topics. They had a sample board of streets and roads that got my attention, so I stopped by, and I was not disappointed with the knowledge I gained. And it was great because it was kind of one-on-one. And as people came up, these two gentlemen would explain different aspects of scenery modeling or wiring. It was great, and they have these nice pamphlets folded up. So I got a bunch of these, and then I didn't buy the rasp or the mud knives from them. I stopped by the Big Rock Candy Mountain so that I knew I had the supplies available when I start to go making roads. And of course, it's not a train show unless there are tons and tons of stickers. I picked up just a few, some that were already in little bags or got put in when I made a purchase. Cool stuff to have. Now, the crow and the paint need a little explanation. The crow is a sticker I didn't get at the show. My wife got it for me because she has family in the Milwaukee area. One of the cool things about Trainfest is it's right in Milwaukee. There's plenty to do. So it makes for a good family event or just a little trip for the weekend. But my wife was up in Cedarburg and she picked up this crow for me. And then the two paints that I have are from Hiawatha Hobbies. Unfortunately, this year they didn't have a booth to show any of the products that they carry, but they're one of the major hobby shops in the Milwaukee area. So we made a stop there on Friday when we came into town, and hey, I found a couple paints that I was looking for. Woodland Scenics was handing out these scratch cards when you made a purchase, and actually on Sunday afternoon they were just handing them out to anybody that had an open hand. So I got this one when I bought my learning kits, and let's see if I am gonna be the grand prize winner. Doing it live right here. If I win, you win. Oh my. 10% off online purchase. Not too shabby. Oh well, not the $100 gift certificate winner, but I'm sure somebody who attended the show got that. And there it is. It's an assortment of items that we got from the show. There were a lot of layouts on display, all different scales, and there are plenty of videos already up on YouTube that are covering that, so go check them out. One I'd recommend to just get kind of a glimpse of what's going on is Bernard Helen from Mini Prints. He did live streams. On Saturday, he walked around and mainly looked at the manufacturers and vendors. And then on Sunday, he walked around and looked at the layouts. I really liked the HO Modutrack, and I could look at that for hours, really, until I fell over. So much detail, so realistic, and those guys do a nice job. They have a signaling system that actually works, so it's fun to watch the trains come in and watch the signals fall down. The N-Scale Modutrack is also an outstanding model railroad. It's N-Scale, but highly detailed. If you were just looking at that without any size reference, you'd swear it was a larger scale. So in closing, I think that Trainfest 2024 was a success. It was in a new location. They didn't have one last year. 2 years ago, it was at the Wisconsin State Fair Park. But this time, the Convention Center, the Baird Center, it used to be the Wisconsin Center, right in downtown, and it was in the brand new renovated area. It was great. Really had a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a great day, and God bless.